MB gave you $50,000, you said, for research.
After I was on treatment, I really wanted to figure out why I got sick.
Everyone's okay. Why did I get it?
So I started to do some research and I found that there's literally no research. I looked up my own medical history and tried to find something that sparked like a red flag. I found that
Okay. Welcome to season 2 of Zbodcast. We are back with new settings, new clothes, new guests, new everything. It's season 2 is gonna be absolutely effing insane. Um, my first guest of season 2 is close to home, special lady, blood relative, Hanna Bordage. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me,
Don't
Chris.
be calm, because we know you're a fucking psycho. We all know. Don't be calm. Be you. Be her.
Okay.
The blood relation between us. Hannah's mother is my first cousin. So Hannah's grandmother and my dad's sister are
We're second cousins.
we're second cousins. Your
You
mother.
don't have to make it complicated.
Yeah. But I want to get the lineage down. So grew up in New Brunswick. Tell us about that. Tell us about New Brunswick. Tell us about growing up in New Brunswick.
I loved growing up in New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
I do love traveling to Toronto now in my 20s.
We are currently in Toronto.
We
yes.
are in Toronto, yep.
Mhm.
I liked growing up in New Brunswick.
Nice.
It's a nice place to grow up. It's a nice place to have a family.
Yeah.
But it's also a nice place to leave.
Oof. Shout out my New Brunswickers. I like to go for
still
a
live
visit.
there. I still live there
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
My plan is to leave New Brunswick after university and hopefully come to Toronto.
Listen, a lot of people have done that move.
It's a power move.
It's a power move. I don't think people understand how grand Toronto is until they come.
Yeah.
It's busy. It's expensive. It's all
fast.
those things. It's fast.
Stressful.
It's a mini New York. But if you navigate it well, you navigate it the right way,
yeah.
it's a beautiful city to live in, be a part of. Always something to do, and I love it. I live there now, so yeah, we'd love to have you, but everything in its own, on its own volition. There's a timing for everything. So let's talk about. Obviously, a lot of us know Hanna is a cancer survivor. It's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to have her on the pod. Among other things, she's obviously family, but stories like this are what resonate with a lot of people. A lot of my episodes are just me shooting the shit, having fun, and whatever. But when it comes to a deeper message, a serious message, something like cancer, we've all been affected by cancer in some way or another. And so having her on and her story, being able to tell her story unfiltered is something that I talked about with her for months. And we finally made it happen because she's in Toronto. I literally just got back from Vegas, and we literally only had a 2-3 hour window to get this done. And so we're getting it done so that she can tell her story. I want to kind of give you the floor. I'll ask an opening question. I want to give you the floor. We all were kind of shocked when we heard the news, but I want you to tell us the story of when you first found out you were diagnosed with cancer and how that all went.
Okay. So pretty much I found out in December 16th, that something was wrong. So that's the day that they found my tumor. Before this, no medical history. I never had any problems. I was always really healthy. And then that day I went in to get a scan on my heart, and that's when they found my tumor. So I had a 12-centimeter tumor on my heart.
12 centimeters, like.
Well, not that big, but
12 centimeters.
yeah, like that.
Like
Perfect,
that.
Chris.
Yeah.
12-centimeter tumor on my heart. The day they told me, I was in the hospital by myself in Moncton. I was so surprised, obviously. I play university soccer.
You're a pre-med student too, medical student as well.
Yeah, I was in pre-med playing university soccer.
Healthy as can be, no issues.
Healthy as can be. I was so surprised. But I didn't think at that point that it was cancer. I thought they found a malignant tumor, non-cancerous. They were just going to maybe...
So wait, they heard a murmur, right?
Yeah, so they listened to my heart, and they heard something was wrong before they found out I had a tumor.
Yeah.
And then they sent me to get a test. And this test was... It was a 1 in a million chance that something was actually wrong with me.
Yeah.
They were not concerned when they sent me to get that test. They go, go do it just to make sure, but you're fine. You have nothing to worry about. And that's the day I went in and I did the test. And then the next day I went in and they told me that they found a tumor. And I was just, I was so surprised. But I also, it's a hard thing to grasp.
You
And
said you were smiling.
I
You
was
said you were
smiling. I was.
What are those emotions that you go through?
I think when you first find out something so heavy like that, for me, I needed time to process it on my own. I didn't tell my family right away, and I didn't tell my friends because I needed to understand it for myself in order to share the news with my family and friends. And I wanted to be strong for them, and I also wanted them to be able to not depend on me to get through this, but I wanted them to know that they could rely on me to make them feel better about this.
You don't want them to feel sorry for you. You want
No, and I never wanted that, and that's something that really did scare me. So even before I shaved my head, I was so scared that people were gonna look at me and that they were gonna be like, "Oh my God, she's so sick, she's so weak." I didn't want to be weak.
You don't want to be different. Yeah.
No, and I didn't want to be seen like that, and I didn't want that pity at all.
Yeah.
So that was really big for me. But I found out probably a week after finding out that I had a tumor that it was cancer, and it was late stage.
If you don't mind, let's talk specifics because, like I said, I don't want this to resonate with people because whether it's your type of cancer.
100%.
So stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah, so pretty much how it works with Hodgkin's lymphoma, it's different from other cancers. Instead of having stage 1, 2, 3, 4, they usually do it at a stage either A or B. A means you aren't symptomatic, and it honestly makes treatment a lot easier. So there's A and there's B. I had stage B. So B, I had symptoms at this point. Obviously, I had a really big tumor. It was late. It was a late diagnosis.
Caught it late.
Yeah, they did catch it late.
The doctor said it was growing for like 3 years, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, so that tumor, because of its size, it would have been there for years growing.
Which is crazy to think, and you didn't feel it. You didn't know. No.
Didn't feel it. Never. I would have never thought there was anything wrong.
Yeah. Even when you actually did find out, you still were kind of.
They called me on Christmas, and I remember I just woke up, and my doctor on the phone said, "Is it okay if I tell you this over the phone?" I was like, "Of course."
Usually they bring you in, right?
Usually they bring you in. He told me that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and when he told me that, I have a video of him telling me that. It's on my TikTok. I posted it. And
big TikTok girl. When I get to that, big TikTok girl. A lot of views on TikTok.
And I was smiling in the video, and I didn't even know I was smiling when he told me. And I watched back the video, and I'm fully smiling in this video. I think it's because I understood what I had to do. Like, I understood, okay, now it's time. I have to fight this. I have to beat it. This is going to be my toughest battle. And it's just kind of like me realizing, okay, I'm going to have to do this. I was also really grateful in that moment because I was home with my family. I have an amazing family.
The best family. We'll do a little segue. First, a shot to
the family.
A shot to family and a shot to you being 100% healthy. That's no spoiler. That's just look at her. She's 100% healthy. She's beautiful. She's strong. She's in Toronto partying. She's going to concerts. She's going out. Sent her out last night in the city. She had the time of her life.
I did.
So cheers to that. Cheers to health. But yeah, let's talk about your family.
Yes,
we kind of rushed through the intro, talk about family, this and that. Hanna Bordage, father Sean Bordage, mother Jomana Bordage.
Oh,
Your mother is the Lebanese side. Your father's French Canadian.
Yep.
That's a strong mix.
That is a crazy mix to have.
But when you were younger, when you were a baby, I had a lot of beers, a lot of fun nights in New Brunswick with your father and your mother. Mother can drink, small in proportion, but she can.
Mother can get drunk.
Mother can get hammered
off of one drink.
Mother can get drunk off one drink.
My dad has a tolerance.
Your dad needs a couple beers.
He drinks like a French man.
Yeah, shout out Jomana and Sean. We love you guys. Thank you for creating a legend, a weapon that fights the good fight always. But yeah, strong family support. I'm sure that you needed that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely needed that. And my parents are really different.
Yep.
My mom's very emotional. Mm-hmm. She's Lebanese mother.
They cry. The window's open. They're broken. They cry.
Yeah,
exactly. They cry or nothing. Yeah.
So, and my dad's really logical. I find I think I'm a good mix.
You're a good mix of both. Yeah.
So it was really interesting to share the news of cancer with my emotional mother and my very logical father. So
If you don't mind,
Yeah.
I know it's personal, but tell me, your mother, when you told her, how was that reaction?
I honestly, I don't remember telling my mom. I think I just blacked out because I knew that as soon as I found out, the first thing I thought of was, holy shit, my mom.
Her
Can I
reaction.
swear on this? Okay.
Can you swear? We prefer it. We prefer you to swear.
I drove home. I was in Moncton, so I
Yeah.
drove home. And I remember telling her about the tumor, telling her about everything. And it went okay. It went fine. And then hours later, I made a joke about having cancer. And she looks at me, she goes, Hannah, don't say that stuff. And I was like, Mom, I have cancer. Like, we just went over this.
Yeah.
And she was delusional. She was
Yeah,
Delulu. She was in Delulu land.
Your mother's been in Delulu a couple times, and I remember. But for this reason, I could see how she's shocked. And
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
very distraught, and I don't think she really understood. My dad just knew I was gonna be okay, almost how I knew I was gonna be okay. He just had no doubt in his mind. I remember calling him and saying they found a tumor on my heart, and he just said it in French, but he just said like, "Oh, we'll get rid of it. Don't worry."
really,
Crazy reaction.
Yeah,
to
crazy
your daughter
reaction.
having a tumor. Oh, we'll get rid of it. Don't worry. Like,
Yeah,
You're good.
crazy. Yeah, I know he's level-headed, but that's.
he is level-headed. He's
Yeah.
the definition of level-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Well, I mean, you need your family support. Your grandparents, who I love, my aunt and my uncle, Habib and Yvonne. Shout out Habib and Yvonne. Love them. They probably took it a bit differently, I can imagine.
I think they took it differently. I think it was hard for them to understand. Even after I explained it to my jiddu, I don't think he really understood what was going on.
Yeah.
Or maybe the extent of what was going on.
Yeah.
At the start, my mom didn't even want to tell them.
I mean, they're up there in age, so you don't want to,
Well,
stir the pot a bit.
yeah, they have a heart
You know.
attack after I tell them I have cancer.
It's just it's harder for them to hear those things, right?
It is hard, but I was like, I have to tell them.
You have
The
to,
day
yeah.
I show up and I'm just bald, I'm
Yeah.
hairless.
Yeah, the chrome dome. Listen, I did it, and I said I looked better, and
Yeah.
I think I do look better bald. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's you gotta talk. And then I remember, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm one of the first people you told,
Yes, so random.
which is I'm honored because I
Yeah.
feel like that's a testament to me as a person. But I just said to you, I said, let's go. I said, let's go,
Yeah.
let's fight it, let's go. What else
Yeah.
can you do? Sit there and sulk about it?
Well, you can't.
Can't. You gotta get up
There's
and
no
go.
time. It's such a tunnel vision. Like when you're going through chemo, it's tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
You have 4 more rounds, 5 more rounds. Let's.
We'll get to the chemo, but
Yeah.
I even remember we were talking about it, and I said the first conversations I had with you were, "What are we gonna do to celebrate when you beat it?"
Yes.
And we still haven't got there because of schedule line, this and that. But I know you're gonna come back to Toronto. I'm gonna come to New Brunswick.
Yep.
We're gonna celebrate accordingly when the time is right. But no spoiler alert. You finished all your rounds of chemo. You finished all your treatment.
12 rounds.
As of today, you're cancer free.
As of today, I'm in full remission.
Beautiful.
I'm
Love you.
cancer-free. There's
Slow clap for that.
There's
Slow clap
nothing-
for that. Let's go.
nothing cancerous in my body.
Beautiful. Love it. Love to hear it. It's the Lebanese blood in you. Shout out Lebanon. Shout out Lebanon. We love you.
Lebanon made me
Lebanon's on the
strong.
list. Hey, you never been. Lebanon's on the list.
Lebanon is next summer.
Lebanon's next summer. It's
We're
on the
going
list.
to
Go.
Lebanon next summer.
Go back home. You'll see. We'll show you everything you need to see. Lebanon's the best. But I'm proud of you. Now let's go back to the beginning. You found out you had cancer. What's the step? Right away? Chemotherapy and all that, or how does it work? What's the process?
Right away, they say you will most likely have to do chemotherapy. You might have to do radiation as well.
Okay.
And then it's pretty much go from there. And the next day, I went in and they told me about chemo. I was gonna have to do 12 rounds. They put together like a plan, and then they're like, "This is what's gonna happen. This is the best case scenario." So that's what we worked on. And I remember them sitting me down, and they told me like the 105 side effects of chemotherapy, what could and what will probably end up happening to me. So it was a lot.
Yeah.
It's a big day.
So the goal in this specific cancer is to shrink the tumor to a point where you can operate? Is that how it works?
No operations were done. So you shrink the tumor, and pretty much the chemo is to make the tumor like non-active. So
Okay.
non-active means it's not cancerous.
It
So I have a tumor still in my chest right now. It's a lot smaller and it's non-cancerous. So it's just there.
It's just there.
It'll always be there, and it's nothing.
Benign, they call it now? Benign?
Yeah, it's benign.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah.
It's because it's pretty much like if you had a balloon and you pop the balloon.
Right.
There's going to be stuff that stays. Yeah. So that's what it is.
So the chemo shrunk it to a point where it's not affecting your...
Not affecting me. It's also not active with cancer.
Okay. Beautiful.
And all the other spots. So I had cancer in my neck, in my back, a bunch of spots in my chest, and the chemo just completely wiped me clean.
Shout out all the doctors at...
Shout out chemotherapy.
Shout out chemotherapy. Where were you doing all the treatments? What's the hospital?
George Dumont Hospital in Moncton, New Brunswick.
Shout out Moncton, New Brunswick. Shout out George what?
George Dumont.
George Dumont. Shout out George Dumont. Taking care of my cousin. We love you guys. I saw the bell ringing video. That's lit. I would have loved to have been there. I would have popped some major tequila for that one. Congrats. That's amazing. So 12 rounds. So did it ever, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, etc., did it ever get to be too much? Did you ever have too much of was it killing you?
I think after a couple rounds of chemo, I was like, yeah, I could be done. I could finish this chemo and be really happy.
It's just an IV and
It's pretty much, so I had a PICC line. So it's a tube that goes in your arm and it goes all the way up to your heart. And I had that in my arm for 8 months. And it was always there.
The actual
yeah, it's
IV,
just, it's a tube.
Yeah.
It's called a PICC line, and I had that. And then whenever I'd go in for chemo, they'd just plug my tubes into the machine, and it would feed me poison.
Pretty much.
And it's awful. Honestly, chemo, it's terrible.
Is there no silver lining? Is it just bad? You have to do it to get where you want to go?
You know it's something you have to do, but it's really hard. I think it's hard because you're battling with yourself physically, but it's such a mental game in the way that you have to tell yourself, okay, I know this stuff is killing you. I know it's poisonous, and I know you feel like you have no control of your body, but it's helping you. It's hard.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah, it's hard to understand. I think it's hard to grasp that it is helping you. But I just remember anytime that I had moments where I'd get tired, I would be standing up for 5 minutes after a round of chemo, and I'd have to sit down. It's just you're exhausted.
It just eats away
all the time, and it's just hard to tell yourself that like your body is with you. I always told myself that my body is with me. Me and my body are fighting this disease. It's not my body isn't against me, even though it feels like it is, because it does feel like it is a lot of the time. Yeah, I just knew that I had to finish. I had to do my 12 rounds, and whatever the outcome was gonna. As long as I did it and I tried my best and I really did fight, I would have been happy.
What was the worst side effect you experienced of chemotherapy?
I think the worst side effect, like internally, was probably the nausea. 100% the nausea. I would be nauseous 24/7, and it's like not just a nausea you get when you're hungover. There's hangover nausea, which nausea. I'm feeling hungover right now. I'm feeling a little nauseous right now.
I had the pukesies a couple of nights for sure. Yeah. So
it's pretty much like that, but it's so much worse, and it's really head to toe. Everything hurts, and it's a gross feeling. But what I did was after every round of chemo, I ran. So after my 10th round of chemo, I ran a 10K. After my 11th round of chemo, I ran an 11K, and I kept doing that. What that did was it showed me that despite chemo trying to take a hold of my body, that was me taking the control back.
Love it. Fucking love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I just felt like that was something I had to do.
12 rounds, 1 round every week?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. So I would have a week window where I'd feel good.
Where you'd feel normal. So where's
So I would just kind of live my life during that week. One of the weeks, in May, after my 8th round of chemo, I went to Montreal on a girls' trip.
La Belle Provence.
Yep.
Shout out La Belle Provence.
Yep. I went to
speaking
Montreal.
French, by the way.
My first language is French.
Yeah.
I went to Montreal, girls' trip. I drank. I went out.
During chemo?
During chemo.
Was that advised? That was probably not advised.
You know what? That's not advised. However, I ate normally during chemo, and I worked out all the time. So obviously I'm allowed to drink, right?
And you're in pre-med. I'm not. Alcohol's a requirement in my life, as everyone knows.
Yeah, so I still, no, it's I wanted to have a positive mind. What gives me a positive
If you're
mind?
putting poison in your body, then more poison, alcohol,
Yeah,
it's the same
exactly.
shit.
Chemo's so much worse for me.
Yeah,
than
2 wrongs don't make a right.
Exactly.
That's what they say. So yeah, but round 8, so that's good. So round 8. So did you ever, like round, did it get progressively worse in terms of?
It did get worse. So after round 4, I started to get nauseous during my treatments. So during my treatments, I'd sit there and I'd feel awful. They'd bring you this hospital lunch, and thinking about this food makes me want to throw up. It's like a
When
sandwich.
your grandmother's Yvonne, Hanna, and these women cook fucking feasts like it's Monday morning.
Yes.
They cook you a feast. So I get what you're saying. It's
And
tough.
sometimes the only food that I could eat during chemo was Lebanese food. The only food that wouldn't make me nauseous was Lebanese
Favorite
food.
Lebanese food?
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough. I ate so many grape leaves. That was
Wara anab. Shout out Wara anab. Shout out all my grape leaves lover. Dolma, if you're Turkish, whatever. Wara anab is the best. If it's made right, the best food on planet Earth.
and that was my favorite food to eat.
And grandma Teta makes that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best.
Oh,
Shout out
she's
Tante
the
Ivana. I
best.
love you, too. You're the best.
She's the best.
She's the best. She probably had a tough time with all this, eh?
She had I think it was very hard for them to understand because I'm so young
And healthy.
and they were like, what's going on?
We also don't, we talked about this too. We don't have thank God, knock on.
Yeah,
wood.
knock on that wood, please.
Fuck, our family is, and they're partiers, they're drinkers, they're smokers. Our family has an insane genetic makeup. Nobody really gets sick. Nobody dies young. All my uncles, all my aunts still alive. Like, it's insane. And they live good.
And it's crazy because they all drink and they smoke.
Drink and smoke and they don't got their teeth still. They don't got it's a whole fucking, I don't know how it works, but it's insane. And then for, whatever, something to happen in your body, it's like, boom, 19 years old and you got to deal with this. It's kind of crazy. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Even your father's side seems to be relatively healthy
My
as well.
father's side is very, very healthy.
So it's just, it basically goes to show you that doesn't matter who you are or what you do or how you live, you're not invincible. So every day is a blessing.
Every day is a blessing.
And I like to think that I live my life that way.
I think you live your life. That's what I love about you, Chris. You live your life like you're gonna die. You're gonna die one day.
I'm gonna be here a long time. Don't scare our podcast viewers.
No.
I'm gonna be here.
But one day you're gonna die.
One day, yes. One day.
One day, far
Maybe
far
not.
away.
Far away.
Maybe not. Him never really dies.
The him era is never ending. Really, it's not. But one day I'm gonna,
But you do live your life to the fullest.
You're
You're just a free spirit.
Well, listen. I don't say it as though I'm ready to die in this. Like, I don't say it like that. I just say that there's enough sad times, and we see it right now. What's going on in the world? And I'm not gonna comment any further on the world status and the world situation. But there's enough sad times in the world where if you have a chance to sit back and enjoy a moment, enjoy a drink, enjoy a party, enjoy a friend's company, do it. And that's the way I live my life. And maybe a bit too much fun, but
Never too much fun, Chris.
I look at my cousin who's 10 years my junior, and I see what she went through for a year, and to see her happy and healthy now is a beautiful thing. And that's a testament to the way I want to live my life, because you don't know when you might get that call, and your life changes rapidly just like that overnight.
Yeah.
So I've had moments in my life where I it's like, whoa, that's tough. I spoke about it on the season 1 finale of the toughest moment of my life. But you see people like this go through this, and it's like, that's tough. But she battled, she fought, and look at her now. Look at her now. She's leaving the pod when we're done, and she's going to a concert, she's going to a party. Wake up, go back to homecoming at Acadia.
Going to Acadia, Hoko.
This girl's turning up more than any of you that fucking never even smelt the fucking the sickness of cancer. So God bless her, because her mother said she's a male version of me, female version of me. 10 years younger, and we're the same person. And I think that's a very big compliment, by the way.
It's because you're the youngest.
Yes.
I'm also the youngest. We get treated like we are the youngest.
I mean, yeah. we get our. There's pros and cons. But living free, living happy through all the tough times in life. I don't want to say ever, knock on wood, never had to do what you've done, but I've had my moments of trials and tribulations.
Everybody has their own stuff.
Their own shit.
Everybody goes through things, and maybe there's not a big label on it like cancer, but they're significant.
So what do you did it, you beat it. What have you seen being a cancer patient? I don't want to term that as a but
no, I'm a CP, cancer patient.
What have you seen? What have you
seen
that I know you have a big following on TikTok. You have a big social media presence. What have you seen that you can help others that are going through whatever type, never mind, whatever sickness,
Yeah.
something that it changes or alters their life. What have you seen as someone that's on the receiving end that you can help others?
I think that going through that gave me so much perspective, and it just showed that there's so much that goes into having cancer or having someone in your family that has cancer. I think what I share on TikTok and Instagram and whatever, I share a lot.
Let's get handles here. We're gonna add them at
My Instagram's Hanna Bordage.
Hanna Bordage on Insta, TikTok.
No H at the end of my name.
No, HANNA.
And then my
Hold on,
TikTok is HannahGrace.b.
HannahGrace.b on TikTok. How many followers on TikTok?
Over 550K right now. I think.
Give us an ad or something on the house or something for the podcast. Hopefully, every one of your viewers watches this episode of the pod.
I think they will.
I think they will.
I
We got a
think
couple
they'll
good
eat
reels.
this up.
Terry, shout out producer Terry. Get us some good reels on this episode, please.
Please.
Yeah, but how's the social media? Because I know you told me before.
Yeah.
You've documented a lot of this journey.
I wanted to be super vocal about this because I wanted there to be a positive outcome, and I wanted to show people that things like this happen. This is life. This is what happens. I can live a normal 20 years of my life and then all of a sudden everything changes. This can happen to anybody. Yeah. But I also want to show that this doesn't need to be everything. I showed my chemo days and I also showed my going out days and
Beautiful.
my runs and my speeches and everything. I wanted to show a balanced life while going through something that was so heavy.
Yeah.
Because I think you keep going. And that's what got me through this. The people around me, my friends, were so uplifting during my treatments. They were always there for me. I'd go out with them. Even when I wasn't drinking, we would just all go out together. And just being in that environment. Yeah, I'm bald. And yeah, I'm at the club.
Well,
and I have chemo in the morning.
Are you saying that being bald is a negative? Like,
I'm not saying bald. I'm saying bald. You're bald by choice.
My genetics, hair, I mean, I got a lot of hair. I got chest hair, I got all kinds of hair. But my hair up top's tough. But being bald is beautiful. Bald is beautiful.
Chris DM'd me after I shaved my head. He goes, bald is beautiful.
Bald is beautiful.
And it made me laugh.
It is. No, but I mean, it's nice to have a good support system.
It is.
I know you did.
Nice.
Your family, I know for sure, is a
my
great support
family
system.
for sure, and my friends are like family to me.
Yeah.
Even I came to Toronto with somebody I call my sister, Kate Hovey.
Shout out Kate Hovey. Is that who you're going to concert with tonight?
Yeah.
Shout out Kate Hovey. Have a good time at the concert tonight.
Yeah, like
take care of my cousin. Don't
she
get too
took
drunk.
care of me last night.
Were you pukesies last night?
No, I don't puke.
Oh,
no matter how much I drink, I'll never puke.
But you got twisted.
But she directed me home. She directed me back to our Airbnb.
Love it.
God bless her.
Paris, Texas?
Paris, Texas.
How was that?
Paris, Texas was crazy.
A lot of weirdos. Be careful out there in the city, Paris, Texas. A lot of weirdos.
There are a lot of weirdos.
Terry, don't go to Paris, Texas. Be careful. But you had fun in the city last
I had
night?
fun in the city. I actually was in the street at the end of the night, and I was wearing heels and my wig, and it's a lot. So I took off my wig and my heels, and I was just strutting around, which was bold. Barefoot.
City's dirty, cousin. You gotta be careful.
On King?
Yeah.
That's
Be
crazy.
careful. Be careful on King. Clothed. Be careful on King.
Yeah.
Always be careful on King. So you beat cancer, and then you have the social media, and you're documenting all your journey. Mm-hmm. Did you ever look mortality in the face and think, what happens if I don't win?
Yeah. I think I had those moments before they told me my official diagnosis. I remember one night before they told me.
Because you don't know, right? You're in the unknown.
No, they don't. Yeah. I know it's cancer, but I don't know what type.
Yeah.
So I remember one night I was up really late, and I was just thinking, what if this is my story? What if my story is this? What if I'm this big tragic, event that happens, and I pass away, and my family, it takes years for them to get over it, and I did have those thoughts. I think it's normal to have those thoughts. It's what's happening. It's realistic.
It's a product of the situation, for sure.
But I think as I went on with my treatment, I wasn't scared that I was going to die. I was scared that I was scared that if I lived, that this would stay with me forever. And I wouldn't be able to get over the trauma and the PTSD of the hospital and everything that includes. Because I've wanted my whole life to be a doctor, and I'm in school to be a doctor, and going through treatments, it was very difficult to imagine myself being a doctor because I didn't want to be in the hospital.
Yeah, on the other side.
I waited so long to get out of the hospital that the thought of going back. And
So has it changed? Has it changed?
It did change during my treatment. I really didn't think I was ever going to be able to go back to the hospital. I didn't want to be there. And then in the last months, I've kind of started to heal. And I know that that's my purpose and that's where I need to be. And I need to help people like me, I guess, now.
Yeah. Well, no better person to help someone through it than someone that's been through it.
Exactly.
Right?
I think there's an understanding now that I will have for patients that I wouldn't have had before. So I am super grateful for that.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story.
I am grateful for that.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason.
Everything does happen for a reason.
I mean, I know we're a God-fearing family, and I know, you went through this for a reason, and to see how you handled it before, during, and after. I know before we were all scared, during we were all, keeping strong, and now after it's like, let's just turn the fuck up. Because
let's just turn the fuck up.
Let's just turn the fuck up because
let's go downtown Toronto.
Yeah. You don't gotta tell me twice. Don't twist my arm. Don't twist my arm.
You only live once.
You only live once.
Now I'm just trying to celebrate. I've been celebrating for months now.
Which I love.
And I will keep celebrating. I don't think I'll ever stop.
No, well, listen, the reality is not many people beat it. Yeah. So take that on your shoulder. Take that with a grain of salt. And, don't. We all heard the stories. Cancer comes back, this and that. You're aware. I'm not scaring you. But you're aware of the circumstances. Yeah. And you said it yourself. The tumor's still there. So, be smart. Do your checkups, whatever. But also go live your life. Go be a doctor.
Yep.
Go fucking, help the world. I want you to tell me about the, UMB gave you $50,000. You said for research because of your own. Talk about that. You explain it better than I can.
So after I finished my treatment, I went back to university. So I did a pre-med program when I was at University of Moncton, and then I transferred to UNB, and now I'm in neuroscience. All towards my goal to go to med school.
Okay.
After I was done treatment, I really wanted to figure out why I got sick. It's a big question. Why am I sick? If our whole family is sick, there's no cancer, why?
If everyone's okay, why did I get it?
Yeah, why did I get it? So I started to do some research, and I found that there's literally no research on this type of cancer or where Hodgkin's lymphoma, or where it stems from. So I looked at my own medical history and tried to find something that sparked like a red flag. Maybe I could figure out where this came from. I found that when I was 12 years old, I got a virus. It's called the Epstein virus, mono. So there's not a lot of research on this, and it's not very concrete. So I made up like my hypothesis that this is where it stems from, and I'm going to start research at my university to prove this and to hopefully
draw like a roadmap.
Yeah. My goal is not, I'm going to cure cancer, I'm going to do this. My goal is I'm going to prevent it. I'm going to prevent people or kids to go through what I went through, and that is from preventing people from getting the virus. I also think that educating people is power. Like that is what is going to make the difference.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge 100%. Is power, and the more that people know, the more that they can go from there and make their own decisions. If I would have known that my chances of getting this type of cancer was so high after getting sick, maybe I would have looked for symptoms, and maybe when I got my first symptom, I would have gone straight to the doctor.
How much different would it have been when you were, like you said, you started growing at 16? If you would have found it at 16 or 17, how much different would your treatment and everything have been?
My treatment would have been different in the way that I probably would have gotten less rounds of chemo. I would have been a lot less scared during my treatment. Yeah. During my treatment, I didn't know if it was working. You don't know if you're doing all this chemo, but you don't know necessarily if it's working. I had a lot of cancer. I had a lot of cancer in my body. So it
was like right near your heart, right?
It was right near my heart. It was in the front of my chest. It was all in my neck. It was in my back. I had spots all over.
So from 16 years old, let's say when the tumor,
Yep.
till when you found it at 19,
Yep.
it was just growing and spreading and everything, and
It was spreading, and I was living my life as a
as a normal.
high school student and
Yeah.
never thinking that I could be sick.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting, and I think that the more people know about this stuff, the better. And that's another reason why I shared it on TikTok so much, because there's a lot of people that got diagnosed after I posted my video, because people had my symptoms, and then they went to get checked, and they went, "Oh my God, I would have never gone in to see my doctor if I hadn't seen your video."
Saving lives, honey. You're saving fucking lives.
And that makes the difference to me. That makes it all worth it. Because some days I wake up and I'm like, should I be posting everything? It's so vulnerable for me to post all this stuff.
Yeah.
But when I get messages like that and people contact me, and it's helping, and it's so worth it to me. It
100%.
makes it worth it.
I think social media is social media, and it's used in a lot of different ways, good, bad, and different.
Yep.
But stories like this, and I like to think I use it in the right way too, and I'm a very positive spirit, and I started this podcast because of the success of my own social media.
Yep.
And stories like this, which they intertwine. She has her own story, she has her own following, she has her own accounts, and I have mine, and we somehow connect, and it's like two worlds
My people
meeting.
meet your people, and
She said her friends watch the podcast.
they do watch the pod.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The support means the world to me, but it just means that like there's a connection there, and
Yep.
that's the best way to use social media. And stories like what you're going through, I know what I went through in my life, ups, downs. That's the most powerful thing in social media, right?
It is.
So like, yeah, especially cancer. I can only imagine how many people go through it. You probably have saved lives because people had those symptoms. They went and got it checked out. Boom, found it. Let's go. Let's fight the good fight. And by no means does everyone go through it as swiftly and as easily as you do. We all know that the tragedies of cancer, but your story is a positive one. It's a powerful one, cousin. And I don't know what else I could say. I'm so happy that you're not only you. I knew you were gonna beat it. We talked about you beating it from the jump. But it was more about how you've beaten it, how you've documented it, and how you're living now.
Yeah.
I think that's the most powerful thing. You're
after's
still
really
only 20
important.
years old. Like,
I'm 20. I have so much life to live, and
right.
I'm going to take this experience, and I'm going to grow from it. And I also am so lucky. I didn't talk about this a lot on social media, but I...
Talk now if you want to. Because
my two of my really close friends that I got treatment with, they passed away during our treatments. So one of them was 17. One of them was 21. So we were three of us, 17, 20, and 21.
Same sickness?
Same type of cancer and same type of chemo. So it was actually the chemo that killed them.
Wow.
During our treatment. And I think that was the hardest thing that I had to go through. Because when you go through chemo and you go through these treatments, you get really, really close to the people that you get your treatments with.
100%.
Because they get it. It's so hard to understand.
You're on the same team.
Yeah. So when they pass away and stuff like that happens, it's really hard to keep going.
100%.
It's really hard. And that was the hardest thing for me, to keep going through with these treatments when I'm looking around and
you see it not working.
And now I'm by myself.
Yeah.
So it is hard. And even the day that I rang the bell, it was just me, but I was supposed to do it with somebody else.
With them, yeah.
But now I'm trying to take that with me, and I'm trying to live my life like they did, because these people were very positive too.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
They were strong and they were positive, and sometimes it is what it is.
You might be the messenger that the world needs, just to show them that, listen, nobody's invincible. Like
Nobody's
you said,
invincible.
We're all going to die one day,
Yep.
but your story is not written yet. It's not done yet.
Exactly.
So take that and run with it. I know you got to get to this concert tonight. I don't want to keep you here all night.
I have a concert tonight.
I know you want to party. I know you want to drink, and we're going to enjoy our lives. After this, we'll have a couple more drinks, and we'll get you to your concert. Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we get out of here? Cancer or other things related? Any message you want to send? Any charities we want to donate to? Something we can...
Oh my God. No
Go
pressure.
ahead. No
pressure.
I mean, you went through it, and if we can help people, if we can get links going and support going, we will.
My main message that I think helps other people is that we're so much stronger than we know, and we are capable of so much more than we know. And once we realize this, your potential is it opens up your perspective. It opens everything up. And I truly think that there's nothing that we can't face. You're not given anything in life that you can't work through.
100%.
So whatever it may be, however, no matter how big or how small, even if it's, some people go through things and they're not like big things like cancer or whatever, but they're still substantial to them.
Yeah.
And however you go through that, do it with grace.
Beautiful.
And you're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay.
We're all going to be okay.
We're
all have a
all
story.
amazing.
You know, it all ends differently for everyone.
It
different
does.
different times, different situations, but
It does.
but it's all going to be okay. Hanna, you are a very strong person. I'm proud to call you my cousin.
Cheers.
To your vodka, to my tequila. Have fun at the concert tonight. Who's singing, by the way?
Daniel Caesar.
Daniel Caesar. Daniel Caesar. I'm old. Sorry, I don't know him. Daniel Caesar. But have a fucking good time, Daniel Caesar. Have a concert tonight. You be good.
Clubs.
Yeah, I could give you some advice and recommendations where to go after the concert. But you have an early flight, so don't get too fucked up and miss your flight.
I'm going to be drunk on my flight.
That's
I'm going to
fine,
be drunk
just-
when I land, and I'm going to be drunk for the next 24 hours after that.
Hey, you deserved it. You earned it. You deserved it. Cheers to life, to beating cancer, to beating all sicknesses that come our way.
Cheers.
Love you. To your Lebanese blood, because I'm sure it helped you get through it all.
And the Acadian.
And the Acadian. To season 2 of Zbodcast.
Season
to
2.
us being back. No better guest to start the season off with than you. I love you.
Love you too, Chris.
Cheers. And welcome back to Zbodcast. Welcome, Hanna. We love you. And cheers. We'll be back for more. Big season coming up. Lots of good things happening this year on Zbodcast. Producer Terry and crew, as always, I love you guys. Thank you for coming back. I thought you guys were going to leave me in the dust after last season. But love you guys. Love everybody. Season 2 started, done, finished. Episode 1. Love you guys. See you.
الحقها عيون الشباب